I hope that all the
You
questions
consider
are like
yourself
this.
Asian or Chinese.
So hello everyone, Brett Talley coming to you again, live from Brett Sounds. This is our second time doing this. I am joined today by Mr. John Faye from
Brett.
the Caulfields, John Faye Power Trip,
And more.
Ike.
It's like on the end of the original theme of Gilligan's Island, like they didn't even bother to say the professor and Marianne. It's like, and the rest here on Gilligan's Island.
So John, the reason we're doing this is because
Yes.
you have a show coming up.
I do have a show coming up, and so do you.
I know.
Interestingly.
This is very interesting to be the interviewer and part of it. But why
Yeah.
don't you tell us about said show?
Okay, well, said show is a reunion of the Caulfields, which, for those not in the know, was the band I played in the mid-'90s, which was signed to A&M Records. We had 2 releases on the label. And we have been asked to reunite for a very cool show in our home state of Delaware.
Delaware.
Yeah, and it's going to be October 26th at the Queen in Wilmington, Delaware, and it's a couple different things, Brett.
Tell me about them,
on
John.
the most important side of it. It is a benefit show for an organization called Light Up the Queen, which currently is very focused on providing music education initiatives in the first state.
Okay.
So, we'll play the show, they'll make a lot of money, and, some budding musician will get his first clarinet or
Great.
something. Yeah. It's actually the 40th Halloween loop in Wilmington, and this is sort of a tradition of debauchery that happens around every Halloween. They have
It's right up my alley.
sort of-
Will you be in costume?
well, I'm going to be dressed as a 90s alt rocker
Okay.
on stage.
Maybe one of us will be dressed up. We don't
Maybe,
know. We
yeah.
don't know.
The one that really likes Halloween.
Wonder who that is. Right, so I got some questions that I
Yeah,
came
you're
up with
so
today.
prepared.
So, number 1, let's talk about the band and how you guys met.
Okay. Well, the band, as it is currently constructed, was sort of the tail end of a particular evolution. So the Caulfields were actually a revamping / renaming of a band that I had in college at the University of Delaware called the Beat Clinic.
Right.
The Beat Clinic was a 5-member group, and 4 of the 5 members of that band went on to become the first version of the Caulfields. So that would have been myself, Sam Musumeci, who is still the bass player, and then Mike Simpson, who was the lead guitarist, whose parts you will be playing.
I will be.
And our first drummer was Scott Colmorgan. And that lineup recorded the first album for A&M, Whirligig. And then after that album was recorded, Richie Rubini came into the scene to be our drummer. And he actually did all our touring with us and was a huge part of making our second album.
What's the music making process like for you guys?
I was writing a lot of songs at that point, so we had pretty much our first album written by the time we were ready to be signed. I think actually Devil's Diary was the last song that I wrote that ended up on Whirligig.
Wow. And
All
it
the rest of the
was
songs were
the biggest song and track number 1.
track number 1.
Well, speaking of Devil's Diary, why don't you tell us a little background info on that song, how that came to be?
Okay, well, Devil's Diary was, I think, the last song of mine that was written for Whirligig, or that wound up on Whirligig.
Right.
I mean, none of the songs were written for it because we had no idea what was going to happen. But I was in a period of my life where, so I've already hit like 25 by that point, so I'm well out of college, but I'm like working like very kind of like menial jobs. Like I was a pizza guy for a few years, and then I got this job working on this estate in Delaware. And while I was very grateful to have the job, it was a lot of like really, it was a lot of drudgery. It was awful. And And another one of the main things that I did there was I cut the grass, which was acres and acres of grass. So I actually wrote the beginnings of Devil's Diary on the back of a
On the tractor.
Gravely lawn tractor, and I was not good about like wearing sunscreen or even a hat, really. Like I was just like out with the sun beating down on me. And I remember pretty vividly that I was somewhat delirious and talking to myself. And I would do that anyway, just to entertain.
Right.
Like I would talk to myself. I actually remember, so the brand of lawnmower was Gravely. And I remember singing, to the tune of Frankly, Mr. Shankly by the Smiths.
Oh, okay.
Frankly, Mr. Gravely, you're an effing C, is a fucking cunt, basically.
Thanks.
So I sang that to myself for like an hour, and then I started to berate myself for where my life had taken me, and it eventually, it's like, so is this where chasing your dreams gets you, John? Like just like barb after self-inflicted barb, and then eventually I said out loud to myself, "Oh, this is great, isn't it? You're just bigger than Jesus now, aren't you?" And that line struck me as something that I think would be entertaining as a line in the song. And so as I kind of continued on, basically in the same direction on the lawnmower, because you could go for like an hour in one direction if you wanted to, I got basically what ended up being the whole chorus to the song.
Wow.
And the first line of the song, which is "Here in hell's hammock, just thinking up deviltry." The deviltry part is sort of a reference to like an old Bugs Bunny cartoon where he's like, messing with Yosemite Sam or something. And he's like, time out whilst I think up some more deviltry. And so that was just like the beginning of that song.
Wow. Well, let's take a listen to John performing Devil's Diary right now.
Hell's hammock, just thinking up deviltry. Planet-wide panics, a hat that's so old. I'd rather write about her in my diary. Could she be mine without selling her soul? Dirty deeds from a demon seed don't excite me anymore. Is there one girl, just one girl, who says I'm bigger than Jesus now? And I love her, I'm bigger than Jesus now. Up above her, I'm stage diving off the church of the holier than thou. Oh, I'm bigger than Jesus now. Well, he's got his uptight white virginal followers. I've got these metal chicks dumber than rocks. Dated one once, but I hated the music, and all her ex-boyfriends were there on the bus. It's never good to be understood by a girl in acid wash. And God only knows what it is that I really want. I guess I could ask, but he's not the best confidant. Puts me down in the biblical sense in this basement apartment with hell to pay rent. But there's one girl, just one girl, who says I'm bigger than Jesus now. And I love her, I'm bigger than Jesus now. Up above her, I'm stage diving off the church of the holier than thou. Oh, I'm bigger than Jesus now. I'm bigger than Jesus now. I know there's one girl, just one girl who says I'm bigger than Jesus now. And I love her, I'm bigger than Jesus now. Up above her, I'm stage diving off the church of the holier than thou. Oh, I'm bigger than Jesus now. Oh, I'm bigger than Jesus now.
One of the things about how we kind of like followed up that was a question of some debate, you know, because if you think about it, you know, Philadelphia at that time, you know, was a market that had two modern rock stations, both Y100 and WDRE,
Right.
and they were both pretty heavily supportive of the Caulfields. And the label went with The Day That Came and Went as a second single, which is absolutely, in my heart, like one of the most important songs I've ever written. You know, written for my father, who passed away when I was young. And so the thing about that song was it really wasn't in the vein of Devil's Diary at all. And it really didn't sound like what you associate with like a modern rock song,
right,
in the way that Devil's Diary kind of fit into the format. And so I think while as a song it's, you know, obviously a really important key track on the record, I don't think that it connected with radio programmers in the way that we had hoped. And so it ended up that, you know, we didn't quite get like the amount of airplay that we would have hoped for that song. You know, there was a lot of talk about what the follow-up song would be.
Right.
You know, I think the only other track that kind of got serious consideration was All of My Young Life, which, you know, kind of has the attitude, the snotty attitude of a
Right.
Devil's Diary, but, you know, in the end, you know, the Caulfields didn't quite fit in general anyway.
Right.
So it's not surprising.
Right. Well, here's John performing The Day That Came and Went right now.
I don't remember much about you. Well, I was barely 7 when Mom came home without you, but I knew right then life was changing fast. I don't know why I remember these things. We'll pack tobacco and the pinch of a bee sting, entwined together in a memory long past. As the years go by, I remember the moments, the sound of your voice, your particular sin. Sometimes I eulogize, I mythologize, scenes cut from a day. Scenes cut from a day that came and went. The day that came and went. Whenever dusk falls in April or May, I feel like I'm back in the yard where I played, and it feels like the day I knew you'd gone away. They never let me say goodbye to you. They thought I was too young and wouldn't know what to do, but I'm telling you right now, that was their mistake. As the years go by, I remember the moments, the sound of your voice, your particular sin. Sometimes I eulogize, I mythologize, scenes cut from a day. Scenes cut from a day that came and went. Oh, why did you leave me? Why did you go right there? Did you know somehow that I'd never be what I am? If you were here to guide my hand, to this day. As the years go by, I remember the moments, the sound of your voice, your particular scent. Sometimes I eulogize, I mythologize, scenes cut from a day, scenes cut from a day, scenes cut from a day that came and went, the day that came and went. The day that came and went, the day that came and went away, the day that came and went, the day that came and went away, away.
We recently just had our first rehearsal with the full band.
Yeah.
Right? So
It went swimmingly.
It was cool for me because, you know, I became a fan of you around the time In Real Life came out with Ike.
Yeah.
And I kind of went backwards from there. I got John Faye Power Trip, and I think I pretty much got the last copy of Whirligig off Amazon, I believe. Pretty sure.
The final.
I won't tell you how I got L, so it was surreal for me to be in there playing with you guys. But what's it? Now I know you guys have done a few other reunion shows.
Yeah.
But what's it like when you get everyone together and you're playing these songs again? To like, is it all just memories coming flooding back, or you're like, oh God, here we go again?
No, it's definitely not a here we go again. I mean, I love playing these songs, and the more time that passes in between, like, you know, when we were really living that life, and you know, and getting together again, to me it's more fun because there's a certain distance that exists between me as the writer of those songs and you know, just kind of like the idea that like I would never write those songs in that way today, just
Okay.
because of
Wow.
you know, and that's, to me, like, that's a cool thing. Like,
Okay.
that's not a bad thing. That's a
Yeah.
cool thing because they're a snapshot of the
Who you are in that
the
moment.
person I was,
Right.
you know, and that person was, you know, an underemployed, struggling, you know, angry young man type
Mm-hmm.
who was, you know, just kind of like finding his way as a songwriter, and you know, I just love getting together with Sam and Richie, obviously, because
Right.
there are a lot of, you know,
And you guys
Like-
have remained friends for all that time.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, we definitely have. I mean, I unfortunately can't say that about everybody who was in the band, but I certainly have fond memories of all of us,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you know, playing those songs again, it's almost like it allows you to like inhabit a different skin for a while,
Right.
you know, which is very fun to do.
Right. Do you think there's any possible future plans for the Caulfields, or is it just reunion shows? But
You
has
mean in
it
terms of, like,
reinvigorated any
in
kind
terms
of
of
making new music with these guys, possibly?
I don't know. I mean, I one of the things that I've learned over the years is to never say never.
Keeps evolving.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, every time like you and I do something, you know, it feels like, okay, well, this is the last time we're gonna do something together,
Right.
and then I somehow rope you back in,
Yeah.
and so
Just when I thought I was out.
they pull me back in.
Pull me back.
I've learned to never rule out anything. Does that mean I have a plan for that?
Right.
The answer is no. Mainly because they're just such lazy, sick little men.
So you've been absent from the music scene for a little bit now because you've been working on your book.
Yes.
So how is that going? Tell us how it's.
I had a very
Coming along.
good, productive summer, which seems to be the way, because like the rest of the year when I'm like, you know, doing my other stuff, like either teaching or, you know, producing this or that, it's harder to like really get like good chunks of time. Actually, I got about 45 new pages since the middle of the summer, like around August. I started really focusing on it, and I think that's a good chunk. And I also wrote a new chapter just last week, so I'm getting there.
So, John, I want to thank you for coming to Brett Sounds
Thank you.
doing this.
I love being in Brett Sounds. I mean, look at the place.
Thank you.
It's a delight.
It's great having you. I'm really looking forward to playing the show with you. Thank you so much for asking me to play.
If,
I can't
I
wait.
could say thank you for saying yes, because it's not just some, little undertaking to like play those parts, because
it's been fun.
I mean, I don't think, I can't think of anybody else who I think could or would
Right. Well,
take that challenge.
Yeah,
and
I've
you
known the
sound
songs.
great.
I mean, I've known you now. I was thinking about this today. I think we met in 2005.
Probably.
So I've learned, I've known these songs.
14 years.
Yeah, I've known these songs for that long, so it hasn't really been that difficult. It's just a little, I love the details and
Right.
stuff, and
And
I don't.
you are a master of
Yeah, so
detail.
I don't want to, I like to honor the original parts as they were played.
Look,
and-
I was saying to Sam and Richie that, like, I don't think we've ever sounded better, quite honestly.
wow.
I mean, like,
Well,
that
that's
rehearsal
awesome.
was really inspiring for me.
That was
like,
great.
I was like,
it was a lot of fun.
This is a formidable rock band,
Right.
and we're
I hope
old men.
we'll,
I mean, you're not an old man yet, but,
Well,
but,
that's all right. I'm looking at 40. I feel like it. I'm urinating like one. The other thing is, Whirligig is coming up on 25 years,
Yes,
right?
so in 2020, Whirligig will be 25 years old. So the
So-
show in October is kind of like the pre-party for what we
Whirligig.
hopefully will be doing next year. So I hope
So
that
there
we will be...
could be another gig coming up.
Yeah, I think that's the idea, is that we want to do, like, as cool as the show is that we're going to be doing in October, like, it's really, like, we're not in charge.
Right.
And we want to do something
It's
where,
the foreplay.
where we're in charge. Yeah.
I got you. 25 years. That's crazy.
It's
And a lot of
quarter
bands from
century.
that, a lot of bands from that era have been going back on tour and like performing their seminal albums.
It's very interesting to see that.
Mhm.
I mean, everything kind of like goes in these cycles, and
right.
to kind of like also kind of take stock of what else has happened in like my life, musically and personally in those 25 years.
Right.
Also makes it really
Yeah.
fun and satisfying to like do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because
It's a big event.
It's a long time, and it doesn't feel to me like 25 years, because so many of the memories that all of us have are still very much in the
Right.
forefront of our...
And if you want, you don't even have to show it. We'll just have a John Faye hologram, because that's the thing to do these days too.
Right, I'll just
We'll just have a John
like,
Faye hologram.
like Dio.
Right. So you want to play one more song for us?
Sure, you want to hear
Which
Rick
one-
Shaw?
Sure. Let's hear Rick Shaw.
Sure.
Sure. Let's hear Rick Shaw.
We spent the day just talking, consumed by small town wanderlust. It got me thinking, there's so few people I can trust. And you say I have been naive, that one day everybody leaves. Well, now I've got some last request. I just wanna pull your rickshaw all around the town. I just wanna sit with you and never make a sound. I just wanna wear your ripped up hand-me-downs. You left your mark on me and now you're leaving. We don't get any younger, now I suppose that no one does. We say we like the thunder, but lightning strikes and we just cuss. Where do you go to stunt your fear? Well, you say anywhere but here, but I think you should know by now. I just wanna pull your rickshaw all around the town. I just wanna take your picture, spinning round and round. I just wanna wear your ripped up hand-me-downs. You left your mark on me and now you're leaving. Well, I can't tell you not to leave. All of the tricks hid up your sleeve, you never meant to show me. I never meant to know you well. I'll take you in for show and tell them off. I just wanna pull your rickshaw all around the town. I just wanna sit with you and laugh with you out loud. I just wanna wear your ripped up hand-me-downs. You left your mark on me. You left your mark on me. You left your mark on me and now you're leaving.
So that's October 26th at the Queen in Wilmington, Delaware. There's some other bands on the bill as well.
Yes, and so the cool thing about this is that it's all Delaware bands who were kind of like the most active in like the 80s and 90s.
Very cool.
So we might actually be like the baby of the group. Like the Caulfields were like formed in 92.
Right.
A lot of these other bands like formed in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
So we have Montana
cool.
Wild Axe, the Snap, and the Numbers.
Awesome.
All of whom have certainly seen their share of things as well.
Right.
So
awesome.
it'll be a very sort of nostalgic evening all around.
Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I can't wait. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you soon with some more of these in the future.
Yeah, live from Brett Sound.
Take care.